guys, welcome back to a cold and miserable day at Derby Coy. Winter hat and excuse me, open the door. I say miserable, I mean weather's not the greatest, very overcast, rather cold, 13 degrees. I say miserable because it's that time of the year with that dreaded phrase, winter preparation. So, got to start my winter prep. Excuse me. So, starting the winter prep today. Don't know if I get it all done. Got quite a few jobs to do. Quite busy. And let's make a start. Not looking forward to the winter. Anyhow, let's get on with it. Okay, so winter prep. I'm falling over. What we're going to try and get done today, right, for my winter prep, I want to thoroughly clean every filter. So I'm going to clean my Easy Pod, the upflow filter. Backy River's going to have a good clean. I'll show you that later, what I'm doing on that one. Oh, just dropped something on the floor. Yeah, obviously the moving bed is fine. I've done that recently. So all the filters are going to have a thorough clean. I want to hopefully purge the bottom drain. I've got my, what else have I got? No, my vacuum. I want to vacuum the pond. And then that's just the start. I've got so much more to do, so I think I'm going to start on the bottom drain and vacuum the pond, and while that's all settling afterwards, I give it an hour or so to get through the filters and I can get onto the filter clean. So first job is get onto the vacuum and the bottom drain. Okay, so the pond's been vacuumed, cleaned the skimmer out, skimmer jack mat and a thorough clean. I know I have got the upflow filter in there, which really helps, but it's amazing how much stuff this catches as well before it gets in the upflow filter. So it's really doing a good job of catching it. Any of the bigger stuff, right highs. Happy with that. Another job done. Okay, vacuum's done. I'm all set up with my jet wash to purge the bottom drain. If you remember, I did my FOC test, and after 3 weeks of using the FOC, I purged the drain, see what was in it, and had that very sandy texture. Now, I've been using Mediclay Unfortunately, it's a little bit longer than I wanted to before I did this, because I had to, obviously had that issue where I had to put the aquaflavin in, so I didn't want to be purging the bottom drying and disturbing the pond anymore. So it's been, I think it's 5 weeks now, so extra couple of weeks. As we all know, flies, I knew it was going to make any difference to flies. Clarity, I'm more than happy with the clarity of the water. The main test I want to see with this is, obviously I want to purge the drain anyway, ready for the winter, but I want to see if I've got that sandy texture in there, which I think was left by the fuck. If that's not in this, what I get out, obviously it was from the fuck clay. Now I am expecting it to be a little bit worse than I'd hoped, because the last 2 to 3 weeks when I had that little spike, I've had a very little, well, not a little, but started to get a bit of string algae coming in a pond, and that's been breaking off. So I think that's been getting in the bottom drain as well. Because of that, I haven't been able to treat for that, but now temperatures are dropping. Hopefully that will clear it up and I won't have to treat it anyway. So let's get this purged and we'll see what we get out. See how bad it is, but I've got loads of this coming in the pond at the moment, and because of the treatments I've been with the fish, I didn't want to put anything in for this one yet, so I expect it to be quite bad because of that, but let it settle and we'll see what's in the bottom. Okay, it's settled for a bit. I've tipped the water away. Let's have a look what's in the bottom. So I've drained all the, let it settle to the bottom and drained it off. I can instantly see it's nowhere near as bad as it was before. As I said, look, bits of string algae, just dead algae and a bit of poo in there. Yeah, as you can see, look, no sand at all that I can find, so I'm assuming that came from the fuck clay, but yet again more string algae. That's what a lot of this is, the dead string algae. If I can find a picture of what it was last time when I purge it after the fuck clay, I'll try and do a side by side. So yeah, a lot better than it was, as in the sand in the bottom. I can't find any of that. So yeah, job's a good one. Okay, so that's the bottom drain purged, skimmer's done. I'm going to let it settle for an hour now. Go through the filters an hour or so. It's murky the water up a little bit, so I'll let that clear a little bit, then I'm getting on to cleaning my other filters and my Backy River. But while I'm doing that, my next job is I want to get my lilies out, because they are starting to die back a bit now, quite a lot now. So I want to get them back, get them out, trim them right down. Last year I actually put them around the back in a tub. They survived no problem at all. They've done really well. But I don't want to do that this year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them back. I'm actually leave the baskets in the pond. Hopefully they'll be fine over the winter. Don't see why they wouldn't. But if there are any problems, or if they don't, as you know, when I had the problems and I took them out before, I actually trimmed the tubers or rhizomes off the bottom, broke them down because they were quite large, and I have kept them in a tub around the back, and they're still growing or still alive. So if any problems over the winter, I do lose them or whatever, I'll have those to replace them with. So I want to get those out that's my next job. Water's pretty cold. As you can see, look, breaking up already. So there's some new growth coming up. As you can see, full blanket lead. Okay, as you can see, all been cut back now. Since last time I had them out and reduced the roots, as you can see, loads of new shoots starting to pop up. I think they're slowing down because of the winter. So I think hopefully next year I'm going to be fine with them. I'm going to get back in the pond. I'm not putting them around the back. So let's get them back in the pond and they can stay there over winter. Okay, lilies are back in. Now, unfortunately, the fish love the lilies. Well, fortunately, they love the lilies. They love hiding under them and swimming through them. And now the lilies are gone, they've got no protection. So what I've done, I've got one of the covers out, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it across this section here. The rest is going to stay open. All this is stay open, just so they've got somewhere to hide and feel safe if they need to. Gives me a bit of protection, and we are expecting a couple of warmish days next week with the sun, so it just gives me a bit of protection from that. But obviously it's been stored around the back, so I need a bit of a jet wash. So job for Graham. Okay, that end cover's washed off. Let it dry off a bit, and as you can see where my baskets were, a bit of dirt. So I want to give the edge of the pond a bit of a clean up. I want to wash it that way so it doesn't go into the pond. Okay, there you go, end covers on. Not happy that this season has been awful all the way through. Started very late, it was bloody freezing start of the year. We haven't had much of a summer, and temperatures dropping again. So that one end's done, cleaned up, washed up, and on for now. I'll just put them on there just to hold it down, because obviously the wind's going to come. If it gets windier, that will be off, so let's just wind it down a little bit. Now I'm hoping to stay off as long as possible with the covers, but the way the weatherman is saying next week, the temperatures are going down to 10, 11 in the day, so it could be sometime next week all the covers will have to be on, but sometime in the week maybe I'm going to get the others out, wash them down as well. And they're all going to be painted up, because as you can see, there's a couple of little pieces that'll touch up here and there. So get all those painted up and get those on. And obviously, talking about baskets, as you can see, I've got some winter plants ready. I've got some pansies there, and I've got a couple of trays of polyanthus as well. That will go in. Right. When I'm round here, this part, my pump house, I was going to insulate all this like I did in the shed with that 25mm polystyrene. But to be honest, the stuff I used last year, which is what's left down there, I've got in bags, I think I did a really good job. And all I did, I just wrapped everything up and stuffed it in there. So I think that's what I'm going to do again. Saves messing around trying to get cut pieces to fit. I'm just going to use that insulation again, as I did last year. I think it did an okay job, and I was more than happy with it. So let me get that in and then get this top back on. Okay, here we go. It's not perfect, but it did I think it did a reasonable job last year. Everything's wrapped up, so it's going to give it some insulation, and obviously going to put the lid on. If anything, I'm not 100%, I may just insulate the inside of the lid, but we'll see. Let's get the lid on anyway. Okay, pump house is insulated. Just a quick one on feeding, my feeding regime. As you all know, well, hopefully know, in the summer I was on the premium growth. I've been absolutely loving that food throughout the summer. I loved it, and I put a bit of size on, which I'm happy about. As I said, not the greatest of summers, so I didn't get as much heat in the pond as we'd like, for as long as we'd like. Yeah, temperatures have been dropping for quite a while now. I haven't mentioned it before, but I have, I know, probably the last 2 to 3 weeks I've taken them off the high protein. I've cut that right down to, I don't know, probably 15% of their food was high protein, when I was still getting around you know, the 14-15 degrees, somewhere around there. And I was feeding them this, which is my Queenie Kai mix of, is it Supreme? I don't know what it's called now. I think it's Supreme. So I cut their high protein down and kept them on this other summer mix. Not as high protein, but so I'm mixing that in with it, mainly this. And for the last week or so, I've completely stopped the high growth, and there I've started to introduce my wheat germ based food, which is, this actually arrived this morning, I was actually nearly out, my Medikai wheat germ and garlic. This is what I feed them through the winter on the colder months. So what I started to do, I've still got some left, not a lot, from last year. So the last week or so, probably a week and a half, I stopped the premium high growth altogether, and I'm still feeding this Queenie Kai mix, and I started to incorporate the wheat germ. I started off at about 80% this and 20% wheat germ, and at the moment I'm down to about 50-50. So they're fed twice a day. Not a lot, they're not eating a lot at all at the moment, the water temperature dropping. So they're around 50-50, and that is going to be even less at the moment. The temperature in the pond today, it was really cold last night, it's gone down to about 12 in the pond. So they've had, all they've had this morning was some wheat germ. They haven't any of this this morning. The next feed, which will probably, where are we, 1 o'clock, it'll probably be about 4 o'clock, 3-4 o'clock, something like that. It's going to be around the 60, 65, maybe 70% wheat germ, and the rest will be my summer mix. And over the next 2 to 3 days, I'm going to start phasing this out completely. So when my temperatures do get down and stay around the 11 and 12, because again I'm going to go up again a little bit, maybe, hopefully get a bit of heat back in the next few days. But I do want to get them onto the wheat germ and garlic. Now, it doesn't give you a temperature this can be used down to on this. I was actually thinking about the NT Labs probiotic winter food. That can be fed down, they say, to 5 degrees. Now I think this can be fed down quite low as well. This is probably around 5 or 6 as well, but it actually doesn't say. It just says do not feed if fish are dormant in very cold weather. But what I like to do in the winter, when I get down to around about 8 degrees, when it's stable at 8 degrees, so it fluctuates up and down, but when I'm getting constantly 8, 7, 8 degrees like that, I do stop all feeding unless they become very active, unless we have a warm day, and I'll just give them a little bit of wheat germ, not a lot, but I like to be around 8 degrees. I will stop feeding, and they just stay dormant. That's all I've done, that's what I do, and they seem happy with it. I never had any problems, so fingers crossed don't get none this year. So yeah, that's just a quick one on the food and the way I do it. So at the moment it's 50-50, but I'm phasing that out, so we're just onto the wheat germ, and see how we go. Job's a good one. Right, as you know, I've just done my bottom drain, and you've seen the results of that, what came out. If you are interested in my results between, you know, I did mention I did a test between the FOC clay, and this is my results of the Medi clay, what I think was in it. If you want the results of that, I'll leave a link somewhere, and or one of these, or at the end, or it'll be somewhere. Just pop back, have a look at that video on my thoughts on the FOC clay, and what I think he did for my pond. But I am going to continue to use the Medi clay. I'll use it every week. Obviously the last couple of weeks I haven't been able to with the acroflavin, what I was doing that, but I do use it on a weekly basis, and throughout the winter months I still use it, but I use it once a fortnight. A lot of people say, why bother using Medi clay in the winter? You know, the algae ain't growing and stuff like that. For me, I personally think it's adding minerals to the pond. Yes, I'm doing water changes and everything else, even though when the fish do stop eating, they're still producing waste, ammonia and various bits and pieces, and toxins can still enter the pond. So I think Medi clay is a good one, as you know, it flocculates and it gets any crap out of the pond and any nasties and stuff, and it helps reduce the toxicity in the pond in that way. So I still think it's of a benefit, and the fish themselves, even though they're not eating to get the nutrients that way, they're still absorbing it through their skin and gills, and they're drinking and stuff, so they're still taking stuff into their body, and with the Medi clay in there, it helps them absorb the minerals and take it in that way. So that's the reason I still use it. I go down to, now the temperature's dropping, I'm still at the 100 grams a week, but I'm going to drop that the next few weeks to probably 50 grams a week and see how it goes. I might keep it at the 100, but when the temperatures do get to around the 10, something like that, I will change that to once a fortnight. That's just my preference, that's what I like to do. I'm not going to put it in today. I'm letting the pond clear a little bit through the filters. I have still got my other filter to do, which I'm going to do now, and then let it top back up, and then tomorrow I want to add the Medi clay. Okay, my Backy River, taking it apart. Actually, it's just loose in the tub at the moment, but what I want to do, I know Leon at Budget Pond Keeping swears by them, so I bought some of these, some vegetable sacks. So I'm going to empty all that into one of these. I might double bag it just to be safe. Then when I do want to clean it, I'm going to just take the whole bag out and dunk it in some pond water to give it a clean in there, and then to put it back in. Much easier than trying to pull this out by load it in and out by hand. It's quite sharp, it can be, so I want to get that done before it dries out, so let me get it in the bag. Okay, that's the tub. Surprisingly clean, really. That's been in there such a long time, that media. It really has been in there a long time since that's been out, so yeah, very happy with how clean that is. So look over here, I'll put it in a sack with some pond water. Not too bad. And we'll just wash it through. Again, I'm really surprised how clean that is. I'm very happy with that, very happy. So let's get that bag back in the tub, and then get the other one done. Okay, bag's back in. I did think it was going to be struggle to get in. Did struggle to get in a little bit, but it's in. I'm happy with the levels. The other one's in as well and cleaned out. Again, the other one wasn't any dirtier than that one, so makes it a bit easier now for cleaning. Just take the whole bag out, swill it off, push it back in. Jobs are good. Right, Backy River, all up and running, and obviously with these union joints here, make sure you put the seals in right and don't cross thread them. And it's all up and running, check for leaks, everything's fine. I'm going to leave the pond running for 2 to 3 hours, let it clear out a little bit because it is murkied up a little bit. The trickle's on, wait for that to top back up, and then I'm going to give the easy part and the upflow a clean, and then I'm going to get the Mediclay in, and that'll be that. I've also, have a look, my planner, I've actually changed it. I can find the one I had originally. I had that one which was throughout the year, and it was a bit awkward to write on it, so I've just gone for the monthly one, and today's one, some of the jobs I've done, ready for the winter. I can just look at a glance then when I last clean the upflow and the easy part and everything else, and any treatments I put in. I've also got a diary I keep for any treatments and things like that, so just makes it easier at a glance when I come in, what was the last thing I did and what needs doing. Yeah, so that's that. So all I've got to do today is going to put the Mediclay in. I'm not going to film that, you've seen that already. As we're cleaning the filters, I'm not going to film that. There's something else I was going to do today and I completely gone out of my head. I remembered I need to do a water test. Water test is due, so I'll do a water test, make sure everything's okay. And throughout the winter, obviously, I'm going to continue the water tests on my weekly water tests, make sure everything's okay with those. So yeah, all good so far. Quick update on the Kujaku is since the last treatments I've done, he's looking a lot better. I haven't had him back out yet, so I'm going to leave him a little bit longer. I might get him out before the covers go on permanently, just to check him over, make sure everything's fine, and hopefully won't need treating. So, but I'll keep you updated on that. So that's it for now. Part one of my winter prep done. More to come. It's been a long day. So yeah. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thumbs up would be absolutely fantastic. Hop on over to Facebook. Catch me in there and say hello. So that's it. Until the next one. Stay safe. Jobs are good.